Hi, thank you for tuning in again. So in this video, we're going to talk about how to get better answers when you ask questions online. So I get these questions a lot. By the way, I'm Jack, and an immigration attorney, and my job every day is to answer people's questions online. These people have questions about U.S. immigration laws, green card applications, U.S. citizenship applications, and all kinds of other immigration law related questions. So after having answered people's questions for the last 10 years, I, I want to tell people how to ask questions, because there are certain questions that you get better answers for, and there's certain questions where I feel like it's going to take a lot of time to answer, and I don't even really know how to start answering because the question is so broad. I guess we could start with a few examples. I guess an example of a bad question would be, I want to move to the United States. What are my options? And that's it. And I'm like, well, let me think, because this question would probably take me 3, 4, 5 hours to answer, because there's just so many options, and I don't know anything about this person. I don't know if he owns a company outside of the U.S., whether he can open up a branch company. Does he have any family in the United States? Does he have any parents who are U.S. citizens or children who are U.S. citizens? Does he have a job offer? What's his highest level of education? What country is he from? All these are relevant information to include when you ask immigration question, because all these facts would lend itself to options, and it's better to explore options when there's sufficient background information. Or another example of a bad question would be, I have some OPT problems, please help me. Then I'm like, well, what are your OPT problems? And can you describe it more in general, more specifically? So I guess the rule of the rule of the day is that if you want to ask a question, you should specify exactly what the question is and try to phrase it with existing knowledge or existing background information about the person that's asking the question. That way, if it takes me less time to answer this question, then I will be more likely to answer the question more quickly, compared to a really broad question that I don't know where to start, and I have to put it off and answer it later, or ask for more information. So I guess, when you ask immigration questions, you definitely want to include your contact information so I can get back to you. Some people don't, and, I don't know whom to respond to. I also would need where you're from, where you were born, because, some countries, citizens from certain countries have more options compared to others. Like Canadians have a TN option compared to someone from, another country, and people from Taiwan has E2 options, whereas Indians don't, and there may be more options if you're from Bangladesh compared to if you're from India. So where you're from and where you're born definitely matters a lot in the discussion. And I would also like to know, like, your date of birth, and so that I could kind of tell your age. That way, when you apply for student visas or other type of visas, that might be relevant. Also, your employment history, and your educational history, so that I could kind of tell where you are, in the whole immigration timeframe kind of thing. Especially if you have a pending application, definitely include that and tell me what kind of pending applications you have. When was it submitted? Did you get a request for evidence? I would say basically just include as much information as possible, and do it in writing. So try not to leave a long voice message on the phone about all of your situations, because that way, it enters my mind. It might leave my mind because there's so many things that's happening. But if you write me, a long email or even a text message, I could always go back and review it later, so that when we have an ongoing discussion, it would be a lot easier for me to reference what we have discussed before, and be able to jump right back into the situation, and not completely forget, your situation. I get roughly about 50 to 80 questions a week from different individuals, so it would be very difficult to remember everyone's situation, by heart. So having a written record really helps in terms of picking up where we left off. So I would highly encourage you, if you wanted to get a consultation, do it on the computer first. Type something up, and then copy and paste it into an email. You can even, on your phone, copy and paste the email onto a chat program like WhatsApp or Facebook Messenger or text messages if you wanted to bring your information around with you. I mean, in this day and age, you can access your email, on your phone as well. So I guess there's no need to do that. But whatever's most convenient for you. But I highly recommend, asking questions in writing. That way, I can answer in writing, and you can always refer back to what I said earlier. And I could also include some links and some resources that you could consult in order to get more information out of the consultation. I usually would offer a free consultation if the question is very short and the answers are readily available. I don't mind answering questions like that for free, but when I get really busy, I do charge for a consultation fee, and I would prioritize people who paid consultation fees, and I would answer their questions first, and you would get better answers and more fuller, comprehensive answers if you pay for a consultation. That's just the nature of the business. So if you want to develop options, if you send a really general question like, what are my options? I'm ready to pay a consultation fee. Then I don't mind exploring options with you, after the consultation fee is paid, because that you paid for my time. So obviously, I will spend the time and go over all the options with you. So, and that doesn't even have to be in writing. But at first, if you want to tell me about you, which is important, use writing so that I can put it in my database, so that, let's say, a year later when you reach out again and say, oh, I'm so-and-so, do you remember me? My first answer is going to be like, no, I don't remember you. But if you give me your email address and what you have sent me before, I can read it again, and I'm sure I will remember you as soon as I read, the records again. And that's what I do a lot when I speak to people who haven't spoken to me in a while, is I go and look them up in my database and try to realize and understand what it is that they were looking for, and so that when I speak with them, at least I have some understanding of where they're coming from and what they need. That way the consultation would be more effective. So I welcome questions. So if you wanted to reach out to me, again, please do so in writing, and try to be as specific as possible in your questions and provide as much detailed background information as possible so that you can get the best answer out of the consultation. Thank you, and I hope to hear from you soon. Have a good day.